mind if I do?
Covino and Rich. Are you ready?
Honestly, how do I deal with you every day?
Get ready.
You heard all about it on the radio.
Get ready.
Whoa! Yeah!
Holy mother nugget! And holy mother meatball!
I'm the smartest man alive! You're so ridiculous. What? You're such a fool. Get out of here.
Oh, I'm a disc jockey.
What's a disc jockey?
Turn it up. We're doing the show. Here we go. Covino and Rich.
Let's go!
Yeah, Tuesday! And it's not gonna be a snooze day. Taco Tuesday.
Sorry, Bob.
Taco. And this show's gonna be less about tacos, more about chorizos or something. All right, save the jokes. Welcome to our live recap reaction show. Covino and Rich, live best of. We're on vacation, but we're here for you with a very special. Hope you had a great Monday. We're gonna have a kick-ass Tuesday.
I agree. And first mostly, let's be rocking out.
Rock out. Get your hog out.
So let's play a game.
Oh my God.
Hi, the salami. No, let's play a game. What are you doing right now?
I don't know. What time is it in Japan?
Oh, that's a great question.
I have no idea. I'm
right,
dreading the 12-hour flight. I can tell you that much.
Let's see, current
At the moment.
time in Japan. This doesn't
Probably walking
help me at all.
and staring at
I
Jordan's
got it.
ass.
Don't worry, I got it.
That's really it.
You're staring at the Japanese butt cheeks?
No, Jordan's ass. Because we're like, I'm imagining us
difference
hiking somewhere, walking, and I'm just staring at her cheeks.
Between LA and Japan.
Yeah, it's roughly
17 hours ahead.
Oh, jeez. I'm
yeah.
sleeping.
So it's roughly 1 a.m.
Yeah, sleeping.
But they're ahead, so that you're like
On a couch.
it's Wednesday.
Oh, yeah, so it's Wednesday. Anyway, we're on vacation, but we have a very special planned out. And
I know what you're not
hopefully...
doing.
What?
Fucking right now.
No,
Yeah, 'cause he doesn't do that on vacation.
Excursions,
Do that on
bro.
vacation.
Excursions.
Yeah.
Spot, are you
Not
fucking
into
in Mexico?
Rich's perversions.
Are you fucking in
I'm
Mexico
into
right now?
excursions.
I might be.
You rather have an excursion than perversion on vacation?
Yeah. I'm going to see some shit. Going to see some cool shit. I'm probably tired as hell right now.
Less perversion, more excursion.
Yes. Yeah. Maybe a little of both. That's okay, too.
I say less excursion, more Matt Vescursion.
Hey, dude, if you're going to Cabo, I get it.
Yeah.
Fuck away. That's not what this is about for me right now. So either way, I'll come back with stories to tell, but man, do we have some today. Now, yesterday, if you missed it, it was a look back
Did you say Mando?
at our last show on
Mando.
Sirius XM in 2016. I'm sorry, what year was that? 2020? 2021?
21.
And a look back at our very first show on Patreon 3 years ago this week. So if you missed Monday, catch it today. We're looking back on October 11th, 2022. What's the significance?
Oh, we'll tell you.
We're going to tell you.
Can I flash it back for a second, though? Because we're so in our zone now where we do our show. Diliasibia? Is that what it?
For me.
Diliasibia?
Iliasibia.
We do this show for us now. And you guys, meaning like we run our own Patreon. Now, our bosses we have at Fox Sports. Do you ever remember having like bosses at SiriusXM for our show? Like,
Yes.
like very uninvolved, but then at times involved. Like it's so weird for me to think back to those days. Like, do you remember being like commercials during our like Covino and Rich show? Like Spot would be like, "We're running late, gotta hit commercials." Like that feels like a lifetime ago.
And we do that now on a daily basis.
Yeah, I mean, for the most part,
Commercials.
we still did our own thing. They oversaw our show, but they didn't
was-
really have input on what we did.
It was very laissez-faire.
Yeah. I do remember Jim McClure telling us, though, hey, whatever you guys do next, you're going to be great at it. Don't sweat it. And he was right. Yep.
Especially
he was right.
because we never really, I think once in the 5 years we were in LA before we were let go, we had a boss that was actually in LA that like sort of oversaw us. The rest of the time, it was like a free for all.
You know who's feeling that right now? Our New York pals, the morning mashup. Because think of all the micromanaging our old pal Kid Kelly did for years. Like every day, like, guys, come here. You got to do this. Throwing chairs, yelling, meetings.
Wow, that sounds like a great work environment.
Their boss now lives in Miami, and Nicole's like, yeah, we talk to him like once every 6 months. And
There's got to be an in between.
I know, right? And I think we got that now at Fox, not to kiss their butt, but the bosses don't bother us, but we communicate quite a bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a good scene, but
yeah,
I want to take you back. Take you back. Taking it back on a Tuesday on our live recap reaction show to when, we're well into our Patreon days. But we're taking you back to October 11th, 2022. But I want you to think about the months leading up. Get into the mindset of everything prior to October 2022. Spot, I think you knew, and I think you knew we knew, you were unbearable, insufferable.
Yeah.
Months leading up to this day. Do you remember your mindset, what you were going through? You were frustrated. I'd be on the phone with Rich every day. What the fuck is up with this guy? Talk to this dude, because I don't get him. Why is he mad all the time? He's fucking angry. He's got a short fuse. Comes in here yelling at people and shit.
I can't deal with it.
Yeah.
Get rid of him. And I'd be like, no, Covino, give him a chance.
You were short with people at Fox, and people knew it. Like something was stirring. We felt it.
What is going on?
I think you like to assign the blame to other. It's probably an amalgamation of multiple things. But
no, this wasn't like a week. This wasn't a few days. This was a long time. It was like
I think
6 months.
It was an intersection of a lot of things all at once. This was an element of it, but like getting new responsibilities, adding on to the day, you guys constantly frustrating me and not listening to me. It was a bunch of things all at once. I know you like to think it was.
I hope we worked together for a long, long time, but I hope at one point in your career, it could be 20 years from now, I hope you work with other people and have some clarity how shitty other people are.
Ditto.
I've worked with other people. We worked at ESPN, worked at
exactly.
SNY, worked at Fox, worked with the morning, worked with the morning mashup.
What did you learn at ESPN? What did you learn at ESPN?
There were some shitty people, but
okay.
But I named other places. I worked at SiriusXM. People respect me. Fox Sports. We've worked at places where we're not directly involved with you.
Has anyone, like people that you've worked with on a direct basis for this long, other than Covino?
Yes. Continue your thought.
I'm telling you, are there people that you've worked with for this long directly?
Directly?
He's worked with Nicole for a long time.
For 15 years almost.
Right. That's different. That's like you and Covino. You're like...
yeah, but that's also another human that respects me.
No, but I'm saying like...
so I'm saying I didn't say this to attack you in any way. Like it's the truth, though.
Like the two of you get to have fun.
What do you deal with now? Like maybe back in the day. Back in the day when you were a happy-go-lucky spot and you're like...
If anything...
Back in the day when you're like, I'm fixing Covino's printer. Rich asked me to help him with his cable TV and this. That was a lifetime ago.
You don't see how now there's even more pressure because it falls just on the three of us. And if anything... more stuff was falling on me in this new venture.
Yeah, but this is 2022.
Yeah.
Our Patreon has been underway for a minute
We
now.
were like 6 months into it.
Yeah,
or like a year into it at that
year
point.
and a half into it.
Yeah.
No, we were like a year into it.
What are you talking about?
We started in March 2020.
This is October of 22. This is the 18 months.
Yeah, but you said the months leading up to October of 2022.
Yeah, you were unbearable.
Exactly. That's where like a year into Patreon when things were like starting to be, okay, the newness was wearing off. Now it's like, okay, what do we do with this venture? How do we grow it? How do we like, improve it? And like I just felt constant resistance because it was like always 2 against 1. Still is.
I don't know how in the world you could spin this on us when you were going through
when everyone else in your life is like when your brother would call me and be like, "What's up with Krish?"
Yeah, he said he wanted to punch you in the face because you were so
unbearable.
He said you went back home.
When your brother hit me up,
you were the biggest asshole ever.
Yeah,
what the fuck's up with this guy?
Your brother hit us up being like, "Yo, what's up with my brother? I want to punch him in the face."
You mean my brother?
I know. Yo, it was a relief to hear from your brother because like we know. What is that? I don't know. We thought you would know.
When people at Fox were like, "Is this guy? He's your guy, huh?"
Yes.
What, you
and
mean
you
when
knew
I would,
this.
Oh, this is back when I would like go in, do my job, and leave. Jeez.
But this is no secret, guys. This is no like
I love how
revelation
you're
to Spot.
absolving yourself of any sort of responsibility. Good for you.
Dude, we're at the light to work with.
Congratulations.
I'm
You're
sorry.
why are you gaslighting
Rich is
me?
right.
You guys are gaslighting
This is
me.
not gaslighting.
No, you're totally gaslighting me.
You're using the word wrong.
You're this is the definition of gaslighting. You're pretending like you did absolutely nothing and it's all on me. And I'm insane.
Yes.
That's gaslighting.
Yeah, no, that's
You're gaslighting me.
What did we do, bro? I don't remember
You know
this.
what? You guys are the greatest. You're the greatest guys.
That's not what we're saying.
Based on yesterday's show. You guys
I'm
are the
actually saying you
greatest.
had justified reasons.
you guys are so
to
talented.
be angry and short because you were going through a lot. I was not implying that we were part of that, but I was justifying that you had reason to be this way.
If anything, in my personal life, I was having a grand old time.
Come on, there had to be an adjustment period. I got questions, guys. I came prepared because I want to bring you into now.
At least one of you did.
October 11th, the morning of. Rich didn't even know. I'm sitting here, you know, Rich is like fucking eating eggs or getting ready or, you know, whatever he does. And I'm here and, you know, I'm just writing my notes down like I always do. Spot comes huffing and puffing. And he sits down and he goes, I got a story I want to tell today. I was like, oh, okay. I wrote it down. Spot has a story. So we had no idea what story ensued, what Spot was going to talk about at all. He just nonchalantly told me morning of that he has a story. I was like, okay, so got to make time for Spot's story. Whatever it was, because it's very rare that Spot says,
I'm going to contribute.
I got... No, that I have a story, right? Like, it's okay.
Yeah. Anytime I try and contribute,
That is true. Sometimes on a vacation story, like we won't even get to it.
You guys don't want to hear
get
any of it. You guys don't want to hear any of it. I try and present things to you, but it's in one ear and out the other.
But I tried to make a note. Well, Spot says he has a story, and there was something about it. It was nothing special about the way he said it. But I was like, all right, let's make time for Spot's story because it seems like he has a story. Okay, I have something to say. You may have said like an announcement.
Yeah,
I
remember thinking, I was convinced it was one of two things. I was convinced it was him and Kristen are getting divorced, or he's moving and quitting the show. And I was
that
like,
would justify everything.
I was pretty sure it was one of those things. And in my mind, I'm like, all right, he's good. Time for Spot to move along.
If anything,
I
I agree
like-
with Rich too
yeah,
because
I
I'm
was
like, yo,
like-
Spot's fed up with us.
was
He's
like-
gonna take this opportunity. I even think leading up to this is when you walked out that one
Remember
time.
we started interviewing like people?
Yeah.
We're like, do you want to run our show?
Who'd you interview?
I just played along.
We didn't.
Shut up.
But I agree with Rich. Like, I'm like, oh, it's a possibility.
It's one of two things.
It's one of those two things.
It was clearly to me, him and Kristen are getting divorced, or
Still fed up with you. I just deal with it better.
it's I can't imagine what would be fed up with. You come here, do this podcast. Albie does a clip, so you go to Fox and you get paid full time to hang out for a couple hours and do a clip. What could possibly be fed? Like, I don't understand.
And make a good living at
I
it.
don't understand what you could be fed up with.
But if you haven't put the pieces of the puzzle together, on October 11th, Spot had a big announcement and made a big revelation here on this show. And we're going to live it back. We're going to talk about it and see where he is today. And I have questions.
Do you have questions?
I have questions.
All right, so without any further ado, do you want to cue it up and take our time machine back? How long ago is that now?
Yeah, what
It's
else
a year
were we
and a half.
talking
Now it's a
about?
year and a half ago. So this is a year and a half into Patreon. So Spot, half our Patreon time has been after this, and half of it's been before this. So this is sort of like
What a turning point.
this has been the midway point, Covino, of our Patreon when you think about it. Because we've been doing it 3 years, and he did this a year and a half in.
I mean, this is before all of our lives changed, everybody. Before everything changed.
It all changed.
It all changed. Let's take a look back.
Yeah. This is, from my investigative research, this is around Halloween.
Oh, what makes you say that, Rich?
I don't know. I'm just thinking.
You know,
I think it was around the Halloween season.
we're probably thinking to ourselves,
I don't
I
follow.
wonder what we're going to be for Halloween. You know?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
The only thought I had on this day was I'm going to wear my Rocky Balboa shirt and just do my best. I didn't know what was about to
Oh,
happen.
you look thinner now.
Oh, thank you. I was probably thinking to myself, why do I look so beefy in this shirt?
You have a thick neck there.
Yeah, we were just living our lives, not knowing what the future held with Spot.
Yeah, you have Brock Lesnar neck there.
I mean, great observation. You got a big giant head in there. That's what I see.
You look pretty much the same to me.
Thanks. I mean, this is October 2022.
Yeah, you're a little beefier.
Different day to day. But
it's also the angle and the lighting.
Let's look back to Spot, October 11th.
You want me to back it up a little or hit it right when it starts? You want to know what led into it?
Yeah, can we see what we were laughing about before this happened?
Let's feel.
Okay.
What was the last thing? It's
I'll go back like a minute. Or no, like 30 seconds.
It was like, what song was on the radio before we became a dad,
Unreal, Covino, and Rich, thank you guys for hanging out. I hope you enjoy your tacos on this Tuesday.
Oh, it's a Tuesday.
Hope you had a great Monday night. Like Travis Kelce did.
Oh, Travis
And
Kelce.
check us out later on Fox Sports Radio.
Pause it.
Check your local listings.
Prior to...
hold on. Chiefs, October, what is it?
October 10th. So it was October 10th, 2022. This was before Taylor Swift.
Oh, that's when the Chiefs won a Monday Night Football game 30-29, a barn burner.
Wow.
So I guess we were talking about that.
Hopefully you had a Travis Kelce type of night. And if you want to know what Travis Kelce did on that night.
I would love to, Rich.
Oh, 10 a second. Let me get the box score. Riveting. Just continue.
I think you have to rewind a little further, Spot, to see what we were laughing about. What? Before the defending like a woman.
Was it China South?
Some news. There was like a news story
in
recently.
LA?
I was trying to follow it, but I was a little confused. Like there was one dude who's like, we're really gonna. He went off script. He went off tangent to like
skim
defend
the
his
whole
colleague
show.
that's no longer gonna be here, and then he got in trouble for it too. Look
How
how boring life was before Spot made his
Right?
revelation.
Who gives a shit?
Yeah.
Who gives a shit?
That's
You
what
gotta
I'm
get
getting.
Kelce
bored.
had a few touchdowns.
Unreal, Covino, and Rich. Thank you guys for
There we
hanging
go.
out. I hope you enjoy your tacos on this Tuesday. Hope you had a great Monday night, like Travis Kelce did.
Yeah.
And
storyline
I hope you
was
check
this,
us
by the
out
way.
later on Fox Sports.
The Raiders scored a touchdown at the last second of the game and went for a 2-point conversion, and they missed it. They went for the win. And it was. I actually remember that game. So, yeah, that was 2 years
To
ago.
think that was important
Before
before the big announcement.
To
we
think.
cared. We
To
cared.
think that was what everyone was talking about. Until.
I mean, I got to keep in mind again, we had no idea. I feel like Spot did give us like one hint looking back, like prior to this,
Oh,
Rich,
what
where
was
he
it?
said something weird. Remember he said something weird, like maybe, like he was talking about swinging maybe?
Oh, yeah. He insinuated that they were swinging. And I feel like, why do I feel like Shannon and Sarah, like your wife told the girls that you guys had thought about an open marriage or swinging? Like that was, they went on a girls trip and I think they were all gossiping and drinking.
Either
and
way,
I think
we had no idea what was to come.
When they were in New Orleans.
New Orleans, I think like
Because that's when it started.
your wife had insinuated to the girls,
That's when I
like
had my first date.
yeah, your wife had insinuated to the girls, like, yeah, like maybe we're thinking about like opening our marriage. And I remember that being like a possibility, like maybe Spot's in an open marriage.
Well, I remember thinking that we may have thought a swinging situation would be the announcement. But right about now, guys, we're bracing ourselves because we don't know what's to come. So let's play.
What
without
was to
further
come
ado.
with the midterm elections? That was right around the corner. You were very worried about that. Continue.
Radio? Check your local listings. Spotty has a story to tell.
Oh, does he?
And it's time.
So, something I want to get off my chest. Something I want to get off my chest. So, I've been debating this for a while, but Friday's or Thursday's show is like kind of the catalyst.
Yeah.
This is hard for me. So for
Pause
the
it.
last,
When he said Thursday show, we're probably thinking like, what do we do on Thursday that he's going to quit now?
Is that when he stormed out or something?
no, Thursday we're discussing something. We were discussing about like openness.
Oh, yeah, that's
and
right.
like I think that's what it was.
Yeah, that was it. You said something
Should I go back to
cryptic
Thursday
about
show?
it. You said
No,
something
no, I think we're
cryptic about like swinging or something, or
I
that
think you
you'd
had,
be
like,
open to
asked me
something.
yeah, you had like asked me questions, and I was like, yeah.
I'm glad you paused though, because I did have a question right off the bat, man. Right off the Easton Big Barrel, taking it back on a Tuesday. I have a list of questions. Spot, why did you decide on this day? And I want to know like your nerves and feelings knowing you were going to say these things leading up to this moment?
So I chose, bless you, Rich. I chose that day. I was actually going to do it the day before. And then I would have, like Travis Kelce would have totally been trumped that day.
Yeah.
I was going to do it the day before because it was Monday, but it was a holiday. It didn't feel right. Like I had brought it up to you. I actually brought it up to you that I had a story before that.
That's right.
You didn't even pay attention to me.
Yeah.
You're like, what's part of the story? Whatever.
But how appropriate on a Tuesday.
But Tuesday. And then I realized that Tuesday, October 11th, is National Coming Out Day.
How did we not see it?
Get your heads up your ass.
And were you nervous about it?
I was very nervous about it. Yeah, it was a lot to share.
But
Was
you
there
were certain you were going to share.
Was there a moment of, I'm not going to do this?
I mean, if it didn't lead into it again, I probably would have just been like,
but
was there? I eventually would have got. This is where I get frustrated with you. I'd eventually been like, well, I tried to tell them something, they didn't want it. Once
did you have
again.
was there a cold foot moment where you were like, I don't know if I want this out here. What am I doing?
Did you feel, back to
ready.
piggyback that, did you feel pressure because you knew we'd find out eventually because your wife may have given it up on social media or we're going to see you with a dude? Like, they're going to find out.
I mean, I think she was worried that like it would get to the point where she might be seen out and about. That came up in conversation. Like, there's going to come a point where like, I'm at the Woodman and Covino shows up with Jordan and then I have to be like, this is okay. Talk to Christian.
Right.
We had talked about that. Not that it would have ever happened.
Yeah, but you could have just said that to us in confidence. You decided to tell everybody.
We felt like the second it was told to the two of you, especially Rich, no offense, Rich.
Yeah.
It would have just bubbled up on the show. Like there would have been jokes made. There would have been like casual things mentioned. And I would have looked at you like.
So this was discussed, obviously.
Yeah, it was
But we never
discussed,
talked about.
We kept it very tight. We kept it very tight.
Now,
like she only
the chance
told
you
one
bump,
person, I only told one person.
The chance of you bumping into someone,
be surprised.
You'd be surprised. Like, I'm thinking, let's say he never told us. Fast forward. Remember we went to the LAFC game and Spot happened to see a dude there that he had like went on a date with?
Yeah, you know that guy.
Yo, because I think back to my college years when my best pal in college, Vince, came out. It started to all add up like, dude, we saw your car parked outside some house on, Van Buren Street. And he's like, yeah, I was doing this class project. Like, eventually, Spot, would you have been like covering your tracks? Like, he's in my yoga class or something.
Yeah, I think I would have.
I think he could have covered it up, to be honest.
I could have, but I didn't want to.
You didn't have to.
And a lot of the reasons, too, that I started really thinking about it, about the point we were in with the show, was because I felt like it was getting a little bit stale at the point. Like, you may not have felt it, but I just feel like, okay, we were like a year or so into Patreon.
Oh.
It was
So you did it for us?
I did it for the show.
I don't believe that.
I do.
I don't.
No, you should.
I don't, though.
You should. But
Wow.
if you're not going to.
I should, but I won't.
Should I start blowing dudes for the show?
But no, meaning talking
But
about
I
it.
do admit
I appreciate
that
it.
it
It did bring
gave
some-
a whole new twist to the
Like,
show.
I thought, like,
Yeah.
let me bring this up. It'll kind of add some new life. It'll bring back that element of like what started with the show, like dating. And I know the guy part was different, but like I really did do it to inject a little bit of life into
Ooh,
the
I like
show,
that.
which is why since then I've shared my
Spot tails.
regrets oversharing, not oversharing, over my regrets about sharing, because I feel like
Anyone that
there was an initial interest, and then it just became like, had I only revealed half of my story, I think it would have been much more interesting, and I think you two would have cared more. I think the listeners would have cared more. I think the fact that now there's dudes involved, I think it turned off a lot of people. And
Well, let's not get too
now-
far ahead of the
I know,
story.
but now everyone knows. Now I regret the whole thing, but I was hoping that it would have been, not only liberating for myself, but new fodder and content for the show.
But were you thinking?
Boy, was I wrong?
Were you, when you made this announcement, like this is going to be a great relief? Clearly, you're thinking this would be great for the show. This would be a great relief,
Yeah,
or did
because
you think this could change the way people view me, and maybe I shouldn't?
I was in a very good place. I had done a lot of like self-work, whatever that means. I had come, I had embraced who I was. I had explored it at that point, and I felt comfortable. I was happy.
Like how long about?
How
Like 6 months maybe?
that was 6 months in, yeah.
Yeah. Dang.
So like I was at a good point.
Self-work.
All right.
Self-work.
Let's
Self-work.
continue.
Always evolving.
Let's continue. Let's
If you're
continue.
not, if you're not a flowing river, you're a stagnant pond, Rich.
Self-work.
October 11th, 2022.
Let's see
the
it.
day everything changed.
5 months. 5 months. Kristen and I have been in an open relationship. Hold on. Can I just zoom in on your faces? Look at Rich's face.
You know what though? At this point,
Covino's shocked.
I'm like, okay though, but there was more to come that we did not see. However, I'm like, all right.
Not what you thought.
Let's keep it rolling.
Oops. We decided to open our marriage and have been seeing other people. But we're still very much together and very much in love. Silence is deafening. Wait, okay. Could I ask you two,
Yeah.
at this very second, what's going through your minds?
Who's he fucking?
Like at this very second, what
I
are
started
you-
thinking like, oh,
like because you both have very different responses.
but when you said,
I was like,
open up
okay, I could see that coming, but let it breathe because I don't want to interrupt or say the wrong thing.
like,
my first thought was, oh, confirmed, and my first thought was, ooh, who's he fucking?
yeah, Rich seems very like,
Oh,
and Covino looks like he just shit his pants.
yeah,
Yeah, I might have.
I'm like, ooh, tell us who you're fucking. It was my first thought, really. Like, you're open for the last 4 months. I want to hear a fucktail. I think that's what I was thinking.
You guys good?
Just waiting for Rich to say something.
So, yeah. So, like, this has just been something that has been heavily weighing on my heart, and I feel has been hard to not share with you. But like, it's something
But
that
does this explain a lot of just?
it's something that the two of us. So,
Well, do you
let me
have
tell
to share something like that?
No, but we've been talking about it, and like, it's become such a big part of my life. That I feel like keeping it from you and keeping it off the show and not being able to freely talk about it has just been so much for me.
Yeah, I could see that, I guess, because we're so open.
Yeah. And
I get it, but is that personal stuff or is that how an open relationship works? I don't know.
so, first of all, I want to be, I want everyone to be very respectful of me, very respectful of Kristen, very
course.
respectful of our marriage. Like, we are, let me tell you, and I'll go into a little bit more detail, but we've never been closer. We've never felt stronger. We're so happy together.
Pause.
Our fucking sex life is incredible. Like, everything. Go.
Were you emotional to the point of almost tears at any point in this? Because just
No, I think
because
it
it's
was
emotional.
I think it was more adrenaline than anything.
Adrenaline?
Yeah, like I was probably like shaking.
Yeah, wow.
Like I was probably like, like that feeling of like before you jump out of a plane.
And I
I've ever had
definitely
that.
think that there was a sense of understanding that I had looking back and remembering where I was like, that explains why you were such an asshole for the 6 months leading up to
That's
that.
where your thoughts go.
It really was.
Yeah, because it was like, there must be something going on in his life because he's been so mean.
Rich and I were definitely saying something's going on with this dude.
We talked every
that,
day.
To me in that moment, like, that's it. No wonder.
It was almost like a, aha!
Like, and not that you were upset, but that you had to get this off your chest. And I'm like, that's it. So I am thinking that. I'm just full
Hadoop.
disclosure. Yeah. Full disclosure. That's what I was thinking. Again, I have to put myself in that moment.
Is like we're having so many open conversations and discussions. Everything's out on the table. Any sort of like bump we've had in our relationship has been addressed. Everything is like tip top shape.
Well, if
because
people,
it has to be.
but if people read between the lines, I
Your
remember
Ring
you
doorbell
saying
just
that.
went off. Black ice is already knocking on your door.
And that's another thing too. Like, the
Good joke, mate.
Creeps, stay away.
Good one,
by
Rich.
no means are we like, we don't hook up with friends. Like, this is like, don't see me and Kristen and Shannon at the beach and be like, oh, I guess they're fucking like, it's
You
not,
should let people think that.
it's-
That makes you look cool.
like, this is something like, so it's called ethical non-monogamy, but we're also technically like polyamorous.
Pause.
Let me write these words down.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ethical.
When did you start diving into all the acronyms and learning all
They
this
come
shit?
up right away.
Really? Like,
Yeah. Once you start like, when we
Think about anything you get involved in. You don't know anything about it.
Yeah, and then you know everything about it.
Let's say you started playing. I don't know, I'm just making something up. Let's say you started playing pickleball.
Yeah.
Within a month, you'd be like, you'd know all this pickleball terminology
and jargon.
Yeah, he started this path. He learns the lingo.
It's
same thing as pickleball.
But I'm wondering, like, did he dive in and actually study this to really pinpoint where he was, how he felt, the lifestyle he was choosing? Like, yeah, ethical non-monogamy.
like when we decided to enter the world, we ventured in, like, that was our discussion, like ethical non-monogamy. That's what we ventured in as, like, let's try ethical non-monogamy.
Got it.
So that was our initial thing.
you know what?
And then
I have
once you start
questions.
going on these apps and looking around and all that, it's like, E&M, polyamory, heteroflexible.
You prepare, but if you remember back in the day, I had prepared a list of questions. Now I'm just thinking off my head, like where we're at now compared to then.
Off your head, you say. Let's hear it.
It's a lot to come, a lot of surface there.
Can't wait to see what comes off the head.
Right? Off the head, huh?
The head.
Who is the person in your marriage that genuinely presented this, and then the other person, what was their initial response? Like if I were to go to Sarah, like Sarah, or what if someone has to bring it up and then you're sort of anxiously waiting, like let's just say we all have a mutual friend that we've known in radio or something. He's sort of rolling with some type of open deal, an old school buddy of ours from K-Rock days. We know him from back in the day. We have a buddy that's rolling this way. And I think there was an anxious moment of it's presented and the other person, you wait like, are they going to divorce me? Or are they going to say yes? Are they going to say no? Like, who was the one that proposed it? And then the other person then had to give think about it, because if someone proposes it, the other person would be like, fuck this, we're getting divorced. How is it? Give us that conversation.
From what I remember, and I've talked about it, but from what I remember, it was she wanted to explore.
But what did she say? Sit down. We're having fucking chicken cutlets for dinner.
It's like you're. I felt like it was in casual conversation.
No, that's a good.
Like you're just like sitting on the couch.
Like, hey, would you ever like?
I think I want to see what it's like to like be with a woman or like kiss.
So it was a woman first.
It was a woman for her. Yeah, it was for her. And I'm like, what does that mean?
At first, were you like, does that mean
does that like a threesome? Do you want to do something on your own? She's like, yeah, I think I just want to like see what it's like for myself. I'm like, okay.
At that moment, were you like selfish?
No,
because part of me was like, if your woman's like, I want to deal with other women, I would have been like, oh yeah,
right.
And then when she's like, no, by myself, I would have been
I'm
like,
okay.
wah, wah, wah.
Because you know what it was? I think there was someone at yoga that she had seen. And I'm like, oh, you should ask him out. I'm like, oh, what's the deal? Like, and I think that kind of sparked things, got the feelings moving.
Women are more sensitive. How do they scope out another girl that's open to it? Because like,
that's the
I feel
problem.
like guys, it's a little more obvious. Like, yeah, that guy's gay. Or that guy's bi. That guy's
Sparkle farts over there?
Sparkle farts.
Yeah, like I feel like you could pick out a sparkle farts more than you can like some girl that's like, yeah,
I mean, you can
maybe.
usually-
Like a girl, women are hot. Like I don't know. To me, it's like does she fucking swing both ways? I don't know. I can tell you by looking at a guy, I think my guesses would be better.
There are women that are
If I
a little
lined
bit
up 10
more-
women, you don't think you'd have a better job guessing which guys versus which women are open?
There are some women that are a little bit more like, they're feminine, but they're like less
Yeah, but I
feminine.
mean, with dudes, you'd be like, yeah, there's little sparkle farts, and
Sparkle
there's,
farts.
Peppermint Patty over there definitely.
You know me, I
gets
don't
with the
like
ladies.
sparkle farts.
Yeah, I know. We found out you like them masculine. We get it.
But yeah, so I think that's kind of what got going or got the thoughts going. And then that was me being like, oh, let me help you figure out how to do this. And then I found that thing for her. Technically, the non-monogamy aspect of it, if you really wanted to boil it down, came from me. Because I was like, well, if you're going to be exploring with women, there's a girl that likes me or was expressing interest in me. At least I think so.
Was there any point of view that
No.
would have cheated?
No.
But now all of a sudden you're like, well, hold on.
Well, hold on. If this is an option, if we can explore things with other people singularly outside of our marriage, I would like to do that as well.
Well, what made you think you had a shot with this person?
I felt the vibe. Because there were conversations. There was like, I mean, it could have just been me like,
yeah. You never know.
You never know.
What a fool believes.
Right. It's like the friendly bar, like the friendly bartender or waitress.
Yeah.
or like the friendly
she
person.
wants
at
You ever see
yoga.
that Instagram?
She
You ever see
totally
that
wants
Instagram?
me.
You ever see that Instagram clip where the guy's like, "I think the waitress wants to fuck me," and she's just really being a waitress.
Yeah, of course.
totally wants me.
Okay. But you were right. Turns out you were right.
But I was right.
Okay.
Because there were like long conversations after. She was one of my students that I also worked there. Long conversations after my class. She followed me on social media. I didn't follow her. So I was like, we were DMing. So I felt like there was like a flirty thing going on, but it was always the assumption that like I was married.
Okay. I see how this all unfurled.
And then finally,
I'm
it just,
writing down questions as we go. I already have them now.
Let's continue with the revelation, the reveal. October 11th, 2022. Give us some Breaking Benjamin if you're going to talk about this.
Ethical. So ethical non-monogamy, which is also ENM, is usually abbreviated to ENM.
just take a note.
And then polyamory. So like, you know, we are open and we see other people. We're not like swingers. We're not like hooking up with other people together. We
do now.
So I'll give you the genesis of it and kind of explain where the past few months have gone. So Kristen, and she's okay with me sharing this. You guys okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no, but
Well, I'm trying to connect the dots on some of your anxieties and
feel free to chat. I'll get to it.
Remember he started talking about how open their dialogue has become?
Yeah, we're gonna pick up.
What's that?
That was it.
Yeah.
That was the hint
Yeah.
you had given us.
How we
But
would have
I
open
have
conversations.
two-
But I still believe, regardless of non-monogamy, that everyone should have very open and candid conversations with the person they choose to spend their life with.
I agree. I just think I agree. I just
But
don't
you
think
let
should
us
fart
in
front of
on,
them.
before this revelation, the prior show or leading up to this, you let us in on that you and Kristen had some serious talks about some real shit and that you guys know everything about everything.
We set the...
And we'd be surprised, kind of.
Yeah, we set the foundation for this to even be a possibility. I think if we were still very like not open with each other, it's like, I think a lot of couples keep things to themselves. I think we would have not been ready for it.
Hey, old Sporkle farts. I got two questions.
Oh yeah, what's up?
Have you ever had? I'm jumping ahead, but
fine.
this conversation is gonna be all over the place.
That's fine.
Over the last 18 months,
It's been 18 months, huh? Yeah.
have
Almost 2 years.
have multiple women asked to talk to your wife to confirm that you're not full of shit and you're not just cheating?
I've had...
Get what I'm saying? 'Cause
So the first girl, funny enough, the first girl did.
yeah.
But since then, there's been an occasional where like I'll slide into someone's DMs because sometimes on like these apps, people will put their social media, and I'll be like, "Hey, saw you on Field," or "Hey, saw you on Bumble. You know, would love to hang out or get to know you, whatever." And they'll be like, "Oh," and then I'll say follow up with like, or they'll ask, "Are you married?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm non-monogamous, whatever." They're like, "Oh, good," because I was about to tell your wife. I'm like, "Cool."
I was about to tell your
I
wife.
was about to DM your wife.
Damn.
But it's never really, it hasn't come up since.
So how did the first girl confirm it? Did she talk to Kristen?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah, because I remember going home, Kristen was at home, and I'm like, remember the girl from yoga? I think she's really into it. But she wants to confirm with you. She's going to DM you on social media. And she did.
Wow.
Right there that night, they were like DMing back and forth. And Kristen confirmed it.
God, is that fucking awkward as hell?
No, she was happy to do it.
But I have a question now. Follow up again.
Yes, follow up, bring it.
If I remember correctly, that got a little weird because that girl caught feelings.
Yes.
She caught feelings, yet she confirmed with your wife. So at any point was this new girl like, oh my God, I confirmed with his wife, but now I want her man?
No. Yeah, there was never any of that.
All right.
There was never
All
any
right.
like
Ever
trying
confirm,
to usurp.
cross it off. First time you hooked up with yoga girl,
Yeah.
did you feel like you were cheating?
It was very odd. Like I didn't know. I remember the first night when we hung out.
First time you nutted.
It's the first time I nutted. Actually, well,
First time you got off with a random person other than your wife since you've been married. Were you like, oh, what did I do? What am I into? Like, or were you like, yeah?
So the
Good
first,
question.
I remember the first nutted. I can't remember the first time I nutted because
Like a
I
ret nutter.
was having performance issues. Remember that? But I remember the first time we hung out. It was when Kristen and the girls were in New Orleans. She had come over and we were like sitting on my couch talking on opposite ends of the couch, and I didn't know like how to make a move. I didn't know when to make
Did
a
you
move.
trim up that day?
I trimmed up.
Yeah.
I
Wash your balls.
showered. I didn't know where it was gonna go. Like, and I didn't know.
At any point, did you tell this girl or anyone you went on a date with, like, if I bump into like this fucking smooth Latino guy, like at a bar with his girlfriend, like, we're just friends? Or like, did you have to give someone like, my friends don't know, so if we bump into someone, follow my lead?
Yeah, everyone knew that like we were kind of keeping it tight.
Okay.
But yeah, we were sitting on the couch and she was like, I feel like she made the first move because I didn't know what to do. But I remember then once we started making out, I felt like a teenager. We felt like teenagers. Like you're like, oh my God, this is it's new and exciting.
Wow.
And she was like, I remember her being amazed because I had been with Kristen for so long, like 15 years, whatever. She's like, you haven't been out with a different person in 15 years. She's like, how does this make you feel? And I'm like, oh yeah, it's kind of crazy. We started making it was weird. And then we went in the other room and like, we didn't go all the way, but pretty much all the way. And then she like, I feel like she stopped because she didn't want it to go. She didn't want, because it was so new and I was still figuring it out. She's like, I don't want to fuck in your bed.
I have a question for you.
Because originally we were supposed to go to her place.
I have a question.
Yeah. That went out the window.
Did she give you the stanky danky?
She did.
I do have a question. Covino's talked about this when you're a single guy and you start dating new people after a breakup. You didn't break up. You were with your wife. Did you like visually just start mentally comparing like their boobs, their vaginas, their everything? Like when because this is the first the JJ you've diddled since your wife. So like you must have been like, it's fucking new pussy essentially. Like was that like a weird thing? Like
it was like
pussy
finding new
cook.
things, finding what works.
But you were probably like,
Getting
well,
the groove.
that's it. Looks different. That is
Realizing,
different.
you know what it is.
Some people are groomed up. Some people are hairy. Some people are this. Like you must be
I've watched
fucking
porn.
all over the place.
More than the visual aspect of it, it was the response aspect of it.
Because your wife is quiet.
My wife's
this girl.
quiet.
If she
doesn't
let out a little
certain
moan, you must have been
things.
like,
this girl liked, being gone down on. She was really into it, really reacted to it.
Oh.
So it was like something that I didn't really do that much.
do you ever report back to Kristen like other women do this? So that's a terrible idea. But I'm like, do you ever like say like, hey, have you thought about this? Like
That goes both ways.
Do you want me to do this? What if Kristen said, I really would like it if you did this to me, and you're like, why? Because Hank did it. You have to accept that, right? Like,
yeah.
But have you taken advice from another dude or another woman, like in your marriage? Like, have you been like, if Kristen's like, I discovered I like when this happens, are you open to be like, I guess I'll do it then?
Yeah. Yeah, things
That's
like
learning
that.
and growing, I guess, in this
things
lifestyle,
like that
right?
have happened.
All right, so let's get back
pick
to
up
the
new
revelation
skills.
spot. Let's get back to October 11th. We haven't even gotten to the second part of the reveal.
Oh, I would have to jump ahead for that.
No, I picked up on that. But
That's probably where it started, right, Spot?
I feel like I've picked up on like just you casually making jokes, like almost like testing the room or something.
And it's not as raunchy or as it's not like I'm, out there
at that point.
It's not what you think it is. Like when we had our conversation on Thursday,
Can be.
That's why I'm like, this is not what you think it is. It's
Until
not
Vegas.
as easy as you think it is.
It can be.
Being open and having like the free pass doesn't mean that I can just walk out and be like, oh, I'm open, come have sex with me.
Well, then-
because there are women that like see this as
Okay.
like they don't fully comprehend it. So
let's start.
So let's start from the beginning. So
Yeah,
Kristen allowed me to discuss this.
Nice.
Well, you told us this part where she wanted to be with another woman.
Now,
Never
fast forward, because I have
in the
a bunch
last
of other
probably year
questions because
come in saying I have something to talk about. And the fact that you pushed it to the end of the show drives me insane.
End of the show.
It's like 10:20 something.
Yeah, we got a while to go. Hold on.
But I have a lot to tell.
I have a lot to tell. You know what? Just stare at everyone. I'm going to get a snack.
I can't without changing the screen.
oh man, well then you could just sit there and look.
Actually, no, I can put it in. Hang on.
So we had to take an intermission.
You
Yeah,
guys,
we were like
you were
just.
so shocked. You couldn't just.
I probably went into the bathroom, looked at myself, like, I can't believe this is happening.
Before we get to part 2 of the revelation,
Yo, stop.
I want to hear your questions. That's the interactive part of this.
Do you want me to find the part 2?
Yeah, find the part 2.
Find the part
Skip ahead
2.
to part 2?
Yeah.
There was a point in which you said just now that you don't hook up with other people together, and then you interjecting like we do now.
We do now.
So
At
if
the
things
time-
are forever progressing and changing,
Yeah.
the things you say no to now, what do you think we'll look back and say, oh, he said no, but he meant yes. So what's next in this world of exploration?
Good question, Steve.
Great
Thank you.
question.
Good answer.
Steve.
Good answer.
I mean, he
answer.
couldn't
Good
have had
answer.
foreseen
Good
that.
answer.
It wasn't his
Yeah.
reality, but things have changed.
One thing we haven't done yet is a couple swap. So I'll see if
See, that sounds fun. If I were you,
that's on.
If I was in that world with you,
it's not that we don't want to. It's just that it hasn't happened yet. Because it's like doing a threesome. You may not realize this, but is a little bit trickier than it sounds. At least coordinating one. We've had one organic and one like scheduled one, I guess you could say.
Organics cost more money, right?
Organic is way more money. Trust me, it is. Organics are much more difficult to find and much more costly.
Got to go to Whole Foods for that.
Yeah, but no, so but coordinating 4 people to where we all like each other is much harder. So that just hasn't, and there's a lot of flakes and like people live far away and all that kind of stuff. So that would be next, I think.
Yeah.
That's on the horizon.
I think that's a pocket.
We've done parties. Kristen's not really into that.
You know what's funny is that it just shows that everyone's mental take on what's crazy versus what's more mild is different, because Spot has not done 2 things. I'm not saying I'm interested in this world, but if I were,
I think you are.
You got like real excited at one point.
Yeah, you did.
Like
when?
A few minutes ago. As soon as you start hearing about vaginas
I
and
enjoy
things
it.
like that, I go, whoa, you didn't let Spot talk.
No, it's exciting. It doesn't mean you want to do it. All right, for instance, there's not porn stuff you watch, but you wouldn't do in your real life.
Yeah, I'm surprised that applies to you.
Yeah, there's stuff I watch in porn that I'm not into in real life. Like in porn,
I know one
I find it hot in porn when like 2 black dudes double team a white girl.
One thing
I don't want that in real life. My point is, there's things that I think are more mild, and Spot's like, no. Like for instance, I said to Spot, "Have you been with a tranny, a transgender?"
Yeah.
And in my mind, I'm like, a chick with boobs and long hair with a penis seems like milder than a dude. But Spot's like, no, tranny. But he, as you'll hear soon, dudes. So I thought tranny would be a parlay into dudes. And the other thing was,
there he goes betting again.
The couple swap. The idea of, if you were to say, what am I more comfortable with? Sarah going to hang out with some other people and couples? I would always 100% want to be there. So to me, like the couple swap is the milder version, yet he hasn't done that. I feel like, so in my mind, the milder stuff, he hasn't done. He dives in like he's fucking Jacques Cousteau.
Let's continue.
Let's pick it up.
My other questions pertain to other things.
By the way, to fully answer that question, I think another thing I'd like to explore, and I've been wanting to do this for a long time, is rope play, like not necessarily
like cowboy lasso stuff.
Yeah, stuff like that. No, rope play, like
tying someone up.
Yeah, tying someone up, but
like tickling them and
no, not
with
necessarily
a feather.
that. Like I think I've talked about it.
Can you show me the apparatus you're talking about?
It's called shibari, which is where you like tie like these knots all over someone's body, and you can kind of like manipulate. And
I've been studying all the new knots I learned.
No,
Boy Scouts.
I want to like take a class. You take a class on it. But it's pretty, it's like sensual, and I feel like this is, I'll use this.
I hope you have like an outfit to go with this new technique,
right?
Yeah,
like
Cowboy Curtis Halloween costume.
Yeah, like cool leather one, the cowboy hat.
Shibari.
Yeah, it looks like this, like where you like tie these knots over people's bodies,
Oh.
and then you can like, so they're not painful, they're not like restricting, but you can use them to control and move. Shibari, yeah.
Shibari.
I think that's next.
Kinky.
I don't know.
All right, cool.
We'll see.
You can install a sex swing in your apartment?
Nah, not really. We're not really kinky. We're pretty vanilla, as the kids say.
Kind of kinky or sensual, I guess.
Sort of kinky.
Would you let someone put a ball gag in your mouth?
No.
How about up your ass?
Would you let a girl pee on you?
No.
All right, let's continue with the revelation because I got other questions.
All right.
All right. Remember, this we're already shocked. We didn't know there was a part 2 and second layer
Right.
to Spot's reveal. We thought the story was told. We had no idea.
All right. Here we go.
Steel Rivers wants to know if you banged Jason Ellis.
Layer 2.
Okay.
Wow. Still Rivers.
As part of the process, I actually have started experimenting with men. So this is me saying that I don't consider myself bisexual, and this is a huge thing. I know this is a lot for me to discuss coincidentally enough, it is National Coming Out Day. I'm not gay. I know you think that's how it is.
Also National Sausage Pizza Day.
Also National Sausage Pizza Day.
Good one, Rich.
So hold on.
Am I dreaming right now?
No, you're not.
I need to take another pee break.
So, no, you can't. No, stay there.
I am.
So no, wait. So I don't know. Like I want to make it clear.
Yeah.
I never ever
Okay.
have like been into men. I've never thought about being with men. I know you always thought I was a little foofy, but like it was never anything that was on the forefront of my mind. Okay. And then as part of this experience, just being like in the midst of sexuality, and like the girl I was dating was very like open sexually, and like, you know, and seeing Kristen kind of experiment with her. So I'm like, is this something? And now would be the time to kind of figure it out and just kind of like put myself out there and, you know, kind of wanted to see what it was like. I haven't had sex with a man yet, but I've hooked up with a couple men.
Wow. This day?
I consider myself.
Not what I expected.
I consider myself. So there's a term on field actually. It's called heteroflexible.
That right
So
there.
Is that
Because that was the first time
what
we
is my
heard of it.
punchline? I guess you're good in yoga?
Yeah.
Wow.
I'll figure this out.
Man, I like looking back just to hear how great you are.
I'm like, man, I'm fucking
You were
slaying.
delivering.
Wow,
Those
man.
jokes were fire.
This is a great chance for me to actually listen back to the show.
All right, now I have some
For
questions
once.
that pertain to this stuff because I know this was a second layer to your emotional announcement spot. Okay.
Okay.
Now,
By the way, to update, yes, I've had sex with a man since then.
okay, you might have questions about that, Rich, but can you give an example of the worst feedback and best feedback you received from this announcement? Because that was the 2-layer announcement right there. Because you were
worst-
probably flooded. And then there's a layer 2 to this
Best
question.
feedback, I think, was people reaching out to me individually and saying, you know, thank you for sharing this. I've struggled with these feelings, or I've done the same thing, and I like, you know, it's something that's made me feel great. Thank you for sharing these stories, like, and normalizing it. That kind
I
of
think
stuff.
it's brave of you to have come out with these stories. I genuinely do. I think it was ballsy of you because you're gonna get feedback, positive and negatives. I think it was a ballsy move. You could have kept that to yourself and told everyone to fuck off.
And the negative.
Could he have
aspect
kept
of
that
it?
a secret forever, though? Probably not.
Not to us, but to the masses.
Okay.
And we, you know.
Yeah.
The negative part is just the casual homophobic comments that occur here and there, like the sometimes not so casual.
You know what
Did you get that a lot, though?
No,
I mean, we saw
I know
a little
lot
bit.
I know a lot of. There's a lot that's in jest, and like, if I have a rapport with you and you make comments like that, great. If I don't have a rapport with you and you make comments like that, it just doesn't feel right.
You know what I was shocked by?
It's like
me
friends,
as
it's
a
like friends. It's like you joking to your friends versus a stranger making the same joke.
me as an onlooker, I was surprised because I get it. Everyone has a different moral compass. I was surprised how I wouldn't say negative feedback, but the like, I don't want to hear about Spot's gay shit comments. I was surprised how much of it came from women listeners. Like, I thought it would be more like the old school machismo guys, like, yo, dudes, I've been with you since Maxim. I don't want to hear about Spot's gay encounters. A lot of it that I saw was from like women.
But that wasn't about the announcement. That was about some of the detailed stories he told later on as a result.
That's why
But
I
still,
really
yeah.
don't, I really don't. It's like things have slowed down a bit over the last 6 months, but I also really don't share that stuff anymore just because of the feedback.
Did anyone reach out, Spot, and say they were doing the same thing or interested in that? And
Just
anonymously, though. Like, people were like, oh, I do that too.
Yeah.
A lot of, like, more than you thought.
Yes.
Wow, it's interesting, right?
Yeah. People that I've known or like have interacted with that I didn't realize.
Now,
I have another question. It ties in.
yeah.
On your Field app and threesome apps and the fun
Grounded
world.
energy.
What is, give me another one?
Grounded energy.
So I use Field. 3 Fun are the ones that are really lifestyle.
Field of 3 Fun.
Okay.
Have you ever been swiping and saw someone that's not in the open? Not that I'm not saying out them, but have you been like, oh, interesting to see this person here?
Yes.
He showed me somebody once.
But they're not.
Not someone that all of us would know, like just,
they're not-
someone that you're like, oh,
I'll say this: they're not on the spectrum. I think they're there to connect with like other couples as a solo person.
Oh, okay.
Right. Okay. Hey, everyone has their thing, right? And Spot, the reveal has been made.
Yes.
And he sort of hinted at, you just said right now, it's not as steamy as it was back then.
Yeah.
Things have slowed down.
I'm actually in a really good groove right now.
But you've had enough time to really sort of dive into this and have perspective.
Yeah.
Is the lifestyle what you expected it to be?
18 months later.
Yeah.
Expected.
Actually, 2 years later, because he kept it from us. So he came out 18 months ago. So it's been about 2 years almost.
It'll be 2 years in May.
Yeah.
It's constantly evolving.
Is it like anything where the novelty wears off? Or are you still into it?
It's evolving, and I'll. So the initial novelty of it was, like, I feel like both of you would feel like, Rich, if like Sarah came to you, she's like, all right, Rich, you can fuck whoever you want. Wouldn't you be like, okay, I'm gonna fuck whoever I want?
Yeah, I would go on an app and be like, let me find some hot, 25, 30-year-old.
Yeah, let me find hotties. Let me find fuck. It's really exciting at first. It really is. And then the luster fades, and you're like, okay. And then you're like, okay.
Like anything else, I guess.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And then it's like, but it's like, if you were just a solely single person, even if you didn't have kids, if you were just married, but like if you were a solely single person, it would be exciting. If you were just married and like going out, even then it starts to lose its luster because you have someone at home. Now you have a family at home. Like there's other stuff that gets in the way to where it becomes, what the fuck?
God?
I don't approve of this.
God, are you bored?
The lights went out if you're just listening.
I'll turn them back on. So it's like it starts to lose a little
Thank
bit
you,
of its
Billy
luster.
Joel.
Good one, Rich.
Oh
my God, how great is this guy?
I'll turn the lights back on.
How great is this guy?
There it is. But it also is at the point where, I feel like the bridge is out, so I can't even turn it back on.
I got it.
No, I can't do it. It won't turn back on.
I got one last question. I only have one more question.
Unplug them and plug them back in.
So the fire or the excitement has died down a little bit. For you, does Kristen feel the same?
Yeah, she's settled into like one, maybe two or three-ish partners.
Dudes or women?
Dudes.
And that doesn't bother you at all. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with Kristen, what she's doing, but it doesn't bother you that she has like dudes she sleeps with on a regular basis.
Yeah, but I know her, and she's not like dying to. Dying to like get fucked. Like that's not her thing. Like she likes spending time. It's like a friend. They just happen to have sex, just like with me. It's friends that we happen to have sex. It's different. It's a different way of approach, and no, it doesn't bother me.
Okay, so now that again, you're at a place where you said you're in a groove, and it is your lifestyle. As far as the
let me clarify because the lights distracted me. So it evolves. So at first it was all about like fucking. Then it was like, okay, the fucking's exciting. I was dating someone. I was exploring, and like that started to. It's like I had a few like very like intense sexual partners, and then it was just like, okay, now I.
What about when someone's better? And
I kind of want more out of this.
Respectfully.
Yes. Different. It'll always be different.
What happens when someone's just better in bed than your wife? Are you like,
different.
Are you like, oh man?
Like there was this one.
I guess it's gonna be like, listen. No one's immune to this, man or woman. If Sarah was a swinger and hooked up with other dudes, eventually there'd be a guy that did better than me.
Swinger.
There was
But it is what it is. So I'm guaranteeing there's a girl you're like, oh wow, she fucking rocks my world.
like
That doesn't get in your head?
I had a girl who it was like a fuck fest. Like, and I think I've talked about this in the past. It's like she would come over on like a Saturday morning because that's when both our schedules are free.
I was at IHOP. You're fucking.
And like for hours. Like hours. It was like fuck, break, fuck, break, fuck, break. And like pounding, fucking, like just fucking. And
like a turtle in a boot.
And like it got to the point where I'm like, this
Turtle in
is
a boot.
exciting, but at the same time, I'm like, this is just a lot.
Actually, I got two more questions.
Everyone's different, and everyone has a different experience and a different level of like excitement.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that's I'm not saying that's a cop out answer. But what I'm saying is,
I know
you're telling me there's not a time where you're like, oh man, this connection sexually with this girl. Like,
that goes both ways.
I'm into it.
He can't prevent Kristen from feeling that way.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, there's never been someone when you're like, oh,
It feels the most comfortable. It's like your home. It just feels the most comfortable.
Yeah.
with Kristen. It just
What he
feels
has
the
questions. I
best.
have one last one.
No, you don't.
Okay, you go first then.
Based on this and where you are now, is it a sense of relief because you found a place in which you and Kristen could exist and coexist and be happy? Or have you ever had a feeling of that you made a mistake or maybe you regret it? I know you've had regrets of sharing too much here because you expressed that, but I'm talking about in your relationship now.
No, I think it was only a positive experience for us.
Cool.
Is there a situation you regret following through with where you're like, I did it, but looking back, like, that was cheap? Like 3 a.m. with the fucking coked out girl or Vegas.
He said he felt odd about
Were
that.
there any ones where you're
the
like,
coked out girl, while risky and like questionable,
yeah, that was fun.
it was a story.
Yeah,
it was
that's true.
like it was
Life
an
is stories.
experience. Like even the Vegas thing, like
Did it for the plot.
Yeah, even
It was a stale week. He did it for us.
Like
Yeah.
even the
Thanks.
the Vegas thing. Like I felt a little dirty after, but
Yeah,
like
you said that though.
it was a fun story.
You said
Yeah.
that. You're like, I need to reassess some
Yeah.
things.
I have a question.
like-
when you
I could see that.
When
But you
you,
could be straight and feel
Like
that way.
there's been a couple like guy scenarios where it's like, a guy will pull up in his car and like we'll be in his car and I'm like, why am I doing this? But like that's why I haven't done that in like months, like 6 to 8 months. I gave that up.
yeah.
I haven't been on Grindr in like 8 months.
I have a question for you. When it comes to the
I don't do that
when
anymore.
it comes to the guy side of things, you're not into guys anymore as much? Oh, you
I
are?
am. Yeah, I took a step back from like random sexual encounters and like made it more about, all right,
Connecting?
I have a few connections with guys that like I see occasionally, not regularly.
Question.
And I'll
There's
meet up with them or
There's
like,
the
we'll hang
naked
out.
there's
But
the
it's-
naked reveal we all think about with women, right? Where it's like you get with a girl for the first time, you're like, oh, she's gonna take off her clothes. I wonder what her boobs look like. Or I wonder what her bare ass looks like. Does she have a nice vagina or is she all
does.
gross? Is the penis reveal even more so a thing? Because I can imagine
It's the unfurl.
like
the penis reveal.
you know what I'm saying? Like you get a girl naked, you're like, oh, let me see what she's dealing with. You're hooking up with a dude. I can imagine like
You
when he
look like
takes
Principal
off,
Anderson? Or are you just like Brent Rambo?
like is there
it's in the heat of the moment.
If-
It's like it's not like you're just
Do you-
sitting there like, all right, take it out.
no, but do you feel as though
Yeah, you're picturing it, and I'm picturing it the wrong way. That's not how it is.
Yeah,
Like, ta-da!
but I'm saying, like,
it's not that.
when
Like I know there's
when
not
you're
like a
playing
fanfare
what do they call that? When they call you're playing tummy sticks. Do you is there a part of you is there a part of you that compares your penis to another guy? When you're with a woman, you're a man and a woman. When you're two men, you're like, yeah,
You ever
I got
docked?
fucking
He's
nicer
asking, have you ever docked anybody?
No.
Have you ever been like,
I
have you
have-
ever met a guy who has the identical penis to you? Like, wow, we're fucking identical cocks.
Like around the same size, yeah.
You're like,
If anything, I'm amazed at like how big some guys' penises are.
Really?
Yeah,
That's
and
the
Guys are
revelation.
just, I'm like, guys are just honestly. I'm like, I don't know if it's a non-monogamy thing, but these guys are just walking around with hogs.
is there a correlation to their confidence? Like,
It must be.
no, but have you noticed that? Like, oh yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
This guy walks
I
around
got-
like he's got a hog in his pants.
2 more quickies. Much like on reality shows, I told you Sarah and I are watching Love is Blind, and every episode we watch, we say, you could bond with someone and think they're great. And then once you really get to know them, you're like, what a fucking loon bag. What a Looney Tune this person is. Sarah and I are like, oh, thank God I found you. We're normal.
I've had some loon bags.
Do you meet a lot of people where you're like, wow, they're really cool, and quickly realize, God, everyone's a fucking loony bin?
No, for the most part, I've met a lot of cool people with the
Okay.
occasional loon bag. There's been some loon bags.
All
in there.
right,
But
ne-
mostly cool people.
all right, next question. Did you ever officially tell your brother Ed?
Nope.
Great question. He has no idea.
He has no idea. I think I'm going to tell him the next time I have to go home. Another update. We're about to sell the houses.
You don't think your big mouth brother told him?
No.
You don't
he makes jokes in front of him, and I'm like, I have to shoot him a look. I'm like, stop it.
Hey, you fucking eating that rubber Cheerio? What do you say?
Stop it.
Nothing, Krish.
Yeah, I haven't officially told him yet.
Your sister? She knows.
My sister knows. She was the first one I told. My brother found out through the show. And my other brother hasn't found out yet,
Wow.
and I haven't told him. So
My last question
What do you think
is,
he'll say?
I think he'll be wide-eyed, and I think he'll be concerned about what it means for my relationship because that's how he thinks.
But you know what? Do you want to, one last thing and then hand it to Covino and we'll call it a day.
Okay.
Do you want to give everyone a big fuck you that said his marriage won't last?
No.
Because there were a lot of people that's like, start the countdown, marriage is over. Dude, almost 2 years.
No marriage is guaranteed regardless.
No marriage is guaranteed, but you're almost 2 years into this and it seems like you're fine.
I understand. We're great. I understand the skepticism. I do. And I get it. But at the same time, it's like, it wasn't necessarily about like, be careful. It was more of like, oh yeah, it was negative. It's like, yeah, your marriage isn't good. It was like wishing it upon me.
Yeah.
So to those people, I say, fuck you.
Okay.
But to everyone else, like, I understand the skepticism. I get it. It's not for everybody.
Do you and Kristen, like, not get off, but
yes,
is there a sense of like when you were in Vegas, remember I was sitting with you at the bar when that fucking hot brunette with the dog? You remember the story we went back to our house with the dog, hot girl? You met her at a casino. Do you forget your fuck stories? The hot girl I met at the bar.
Oh.
Bubbly white girl with the brunette.
Oh, with the dog. That's right. She had a dog.
Yeah.
Kat Von D.
I'm like, I thought the girl
Paige,
had
the
a
wrestler.
dog at the
The
bar.
girl that looked like the
That's how he said it.
The girl that
Yeah.
looked like WWE's Paige.
Yeah, she was hot.
Now, like, do you show that to Kristen almost like braggy, like, hey, babe, look who I fucked in Vegas?
Yeah.
Or is it more of a, oh, let me show you? Like, is it playful?
It's
like,
more of like a, can you believe this girl wants to have sex with me?
oh, cool. Okay.
It's more of like a, I can't believe it. Look at how cute this girl is.
Does it give more value to you and vice versa?
I think it excites, I don't think the one-offs necessarily excite Kristen, but I think when I find a partner that like is attractive, cool, and like likes to have fun, I think that excites her. I think her seeing me having fun and enjoying, like being with a good person, excites her.
You don't have to tell us exactly who, but is there a girl that we know that you've met that's on like your wish list, like you're secretly kicking it to and hoping that one day she bites, takes the bait? Like, because I know this isn't a good example, but like our old pal from ESPN, like when we scroll past Janelle, you're always like, I would look at those cheeks. Like,
if I were at like, if we were out with Janelle and like,
no, but
I would flirt with her.
Have you? You don't have to tell us who, but have you sort of kicked it to someone we know and it just hasn't happened?
I'm always putting feelers out there.
Good answer.
There's
And
a couple,
my
I'm sure there's like a like or a DM or like, but there's never been an active like let's fuck. It's always like flirty to keep it going, and then if I'm ever in a situation, I'll see if it.
Actually, I got two last questions.
All right.
Okay. Are you still adamant that your taking testosterone had nothing to do with your aggression and your sex increase and everything else?
Yes.
Okay.
He's gonna die on that hill
because there are many people that take testosterone.
You had zero pulse in your penis.
That's not true.
For the first fucking 10 plus years I knew you.
I was jerking off like 5 days a week before I did all this.
Oh, okay.
Before I took testosterone.
All right. Hey, I had to ask if maybe he had a different opinion now.
It's the same people who think that I only got muscles because I started taking testosterone. I dropped weight and got muscles, and then I started taking testosterone.
Okay.
All right. So again, just clearing it up. And do you think you're officially now the fuckmaster of the show?
I mean, he's got to be.
I gotta be. I'm the current active fuckmaster.
I mean,
do my experiences equal what you've experienced?
I mean, listen,
probably not.
I would say you surpassed that.
I mean, for all I'm saying is like, if I was Tom Brady, he's Mahomes. We don't know. I'm fucking retired. I'm retired. For all I know, like he could win 5 more Super Bowls.
That's a legitimate comparison.
Tom Brady hung it up. What do you want me to tell you?
Hope you enjoyed our live recap reaction show. Got to give a round of applause to Spot. I mean, it's his personal life. It's very personal, so we appreciate that.
We're due for a poly talk. I know we are because there hasn't really been much going on.
Yeah,
we both kind of slowed down, but things are not picking up again, but like back in the groove. So.
Springtime's happening. Easter bunnies.
Springtime. Cuffing season's over.
All right. Well, thank you, Spot, for sharing. I mean that for real, and wish you guys nothing but the best. And thank you guys for hanging out and reliving that crazy day, October 11th, 2022. Now, tomorrow and the next day, you're probably going to see some documentary footage that you haven't seen in a minute if Spot's able to upload that to Patreon.
The re-release of old school Covino and Rich documentaries from the Sammy J days. So footage some of you have never seen before. You're going to love it. And if you're not trying sushi in Japan right now, I want to punch you in the nose. Will you try something that you
try?
Is it keto?
Fish, yes. Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
You really doing keto while you're there?
Yeah, bro. Yeah.
You're gonna pass
and I'm
up
gonna
on,
get like
like-
30 steps in a day.
You're gonna pass up on like Japanese treats.
Dude, jawline season's coming up. Yeah.
Jawlines.
Yeah. How am I gonna be one of the hot tub boys if I'm not looking nice?
You wouldn't go in the hot tub anyway.
But if I'm feeling nice, maybe I will.
I mean, this is aggravating, a topic for another day, but you're really like actually gonna stay on keto while you're there?
I don't know. I can't
hope
answer
not.
that
I
question
hope
right
not.
now. Yeah. I mean, hey.
I mean, come on. You're in Japan
it's
once
one
in your
week.
Hey,
life.
everybody has their own versions of fun, clearly. Right?
Exactly. All right,
So.
we'll see you guys tomorrow. Until then, arrivederci, baby.
See you in the promised land.
Goodbye.
Goodbye, guys.